So what you're telling me is that this game that's supposedly about exploration where you can't fly to different planets has less space exploration than Kingdom Hearts and a gunship, where I can fly to different planets.
Okay. She's mad at me.
The audacity.
First, before we start, I've confirmed it, but I need everyone because nobody said a thing last time. Is my microphone good? Please. And then Emily can yell at me.
The sheer audacity to post in my channel, in my stream schedule, the wrong channel even, after I had already posted mine.
It was your mistake making me a mod.
It's the wrong channel, Blake.
Listen.
Holy shit, wait. We gotta go. Kinger is playing Assassin's Creed Mirage because he lives in the future. I have to go.
So, okay, context. And this is related to what Emily just said. Well, we were supposed to do Tokyo Game Show today. We looked at all the releases. It wasn't worth talking about. Tokyo Game Show was not worth talking about, except for Persona 3 Reloaded, which we already knew existed. So, because we already knew Emily was doing an Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Sorry, I'm like trying to position myself in frame. I'm like half out of it.
Look at Lamp.
It's the wrong way.
Because Emily's doing an Assassin's Creed Mirage thoughts review, whatever, in 2 weeks, we changed this to Starfield because I wanted to talk about Starfield anyways.
I have so many things to say about Starfield.
You never played Starfield.
I know.
I just want Emily to interject. Emily, your job is to interject with as stupid of questions as you can. And I mean, like, not like actual curiosities. I just want really stupid questions that you know the answer to or are just so incoherent that I can't answer them.
Yeah, sure. I'm on it. I don't have my sticky notes. I was going to write down my questions.
I put a full review of Starfield in my Discord. I'm sure if any of you are in my Discord, I'm sure you guys already saw that review about 2 weeks ago. But now I'm going to share my thoughts and my loves and my frustrations and everything with that. And then I get to listen.
I'll just use this.
And then I'll get to listen to Emily yammer on for an hour next week. And also ask stupid, incoherent questions.
Well, you'll also be able to contribute. You've played a good chunk of the Assassin's Creed series.
So I played Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, 4, Unity, and then I stopped.
So you missed the good one.
No, I played the good one.
You mean Syndicate's the good one?
No, 2. And
Revelations. 2's
Revelations.
also a good one. 2's also a good one. Syndicate is still a 10 out of 10 game.
I'm waiting for
You know, this is total divergent. I know we're talking about Starfield today, but I sat in my room for like 30 minutes this afternoon, and I was like, why do people dislike Syndicate? And then I spent 30 minutes thinking about how much I love that game and every single aspect of that game that makes it such a gem of a game, and I could not think of a single reason somebody wouldn't enjoy that game.
Because here's the thing, Em. Here's the thing, and I do the same thing. When you love something, you tend to keep the stuff that you didn't like about it out of your brain. Because there's no 10 out of 10 game.
I mean, there is 10 out of 10 games. I played it. It's Ghost of Tsushima.
Okay, I take it back. She's right.
But objectively, like, you know, like, I think I can be pretty objective. I can look at Skyward Sword and say, I love that game. It's incredible. But I understand some people don't like the motion controls. That's a gripe people have about it. Right?
She has constantly told us we're just bad at motion control. She just
I think you are. But I also acknowledge that I'm bad at the pew pew game, so I wouldn't go play a pew pew game and then be like, it's bad because I'm bad at it. But I accept that motion controls are not a thing people like, and so people may look badly on Skyward Sword because they don't like motion controls. I look at Syndicate, and I like can't put my finger on what people would not like about that game. To like not enjoy it.
I'll have you know, Emily forced me to play Skyward Sword, and I adored it, and it's great. I did not buy the Switch version, though. I bought the Wii version, because this is before the Switch version came out. Oh, good old 2020. The year of me playing a bunch of Zelda games I never played before, and absolutely hating one of them, but loving the other. No, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate that one. I just didn't like it.
We're talking about Twilight Princess, yes?
Yes, we're talking about Twilight Princess.
I figured.
Roast me in the comments, YouTube. You won't, cowards. Twilight Princess mid. All right, I'm done. All
right. I guess we should stop talking about other video games and talk about the one video game we came here to discuss.
Yeah. Well, we have to talk about Bethesda background, which is going to require me to talk about other video games.
I love this. Can I just say how much I love this Bethesda background and like you talking about Starfield? Because can I say I've never played a game by Bethany Ezda in my entire life.
Bethany Ezda? Bethany Ezda?
You've never heard? Okay, the only experience I've ever had with a Bethesda game is watching the Monster Factory Fallout 4, in which Justin jokingly calls it. He says, "Hi, my name is Bethany Ezda, and this is my game." And so I call it Bethany Ezda. I've never played a single game. I've never played a Fallout game. I haven't played Starfield. I'm sure there's another series out there that they've made at some point in time.
Elder Scrolls, which is definitely not Elden Ring, but
okay,
is Skyrim.
I haven't played that. If Todd Howard has touched it, I have not.
Okay, but remember, that doesn't encompass all of Bethesda. Bethesda has other things outside of Todd Howard.
Okay, wait.
I guarantee you, I haven't played many Bethesda games either, but there's a chance you may have played one. You may have played
Ghostwire Tokyo was on my list. I still haven't played it, though. I haven't played Doom Eternal, Deathloop, Redfall. Oh, I have played like an hour of Prey at my friend's house.
I never
does that Prey. Count?
Wait, Prey, that came out on like the PS3, Xbox 360, right? Or am I wrong?
That's a 2017 game.
Never mind, that's not what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking something different.
I'm going through. I haven't played. I know this will come as a shock to many. I have not played the 2003 classic video game Pirates of the Caribbean, nor its follow-up 2006 game Pirates of the Caribbean: The Legend of Jack Sparrow.
Did they do those?
Apparently, that's
what
I'm being told. So no, I can confirm I've never played a Bethesda game.
Okay. You will be playing your first one relatively soon when you play Ghostwire Tokyo.
If I play Ghostwire Tokyo, though, I have so many games. It's if it was handed to me for free and I had no other game to play, I guess.
Okay, I looked at chat and I'm not technically
what I understand about Bethesda games is that they're a little campy, but really good. And if they have any kind of bug or wacky animations, you just chalk it up to it being the that's just Bethesda quirks.
We stopped that
That's just Bethesda.
We stopped that in 2018. We stopped that with Fallout 76.
No, I heard that a lot for Starfield. Listen, I don't know a lot about Starfield, but I saw some wacky stuff, and I still was being told that was the charm of a Bethesda game. Okay. That's all I know.
I didn't run into any bugs instead of, we'll get into that. But we got to talk about history first.
Okay, history.
Specifically my history, because this is my review, and your guys' opinions are not mine. So that's the end of that statement.
In another universe, far, far away, Bethany Ezda was born.
In 2011, I asked...
Oh, that's not that far.
No, it's not. I asked friends of mine, I remember the year, because I'm like, I really want to play a game where choice actually feels like it matters and things change everything. And they pushed me. This is late 2010, early 2011. They pushed me to play Fallout New Vegas, okay? Which is my favorite Bethesda game of all time, and it hasn't changed. And a lot of people, I can't even say this chalks up to it was my first one, but a lot of people do agree with me.
Really good things about Fallout. I've never heard anyone say anything bad about Fallout New Vegas. I've never played it. I did see someone play parts of it when I was younger. So I've I've heard really good things as far as like my experience goes.
Well, the reason you heard good things is because Bethesda's not even the people who developed this one. They outsourced it to Obsidian using their Fallout 3 engine, and Obsidian made a really good game.
So that tracks.
And because I'm me, I'm an ADHD monster. After I played all of New Vegas and all of its DLC and put thousands of hours into it, I'm like, all right, I got to try Fallout 3. Love Fallout 3, not nearly as much as I did New Vegas. And then Skyrim came out like almost a year, maybe a year after I played both those games. And I fell in love with Skyrim, just like everybody else.
Wait, can we slow down for a second? I want to backtrack real quick.
Yeah.
I never put this piece together, but I realized it now when you just said that. I've never heard anyone ever talk about Fallout 3. I've heard so much praise about New Vegas, and I've had a lot of experience with Fallout 4, where it's like watching people play it or Monster Factor or whatever. What the heck is Fallout 3?
So Fallout 3, so when it comes to what the best Fallout game is, there's actually a big argument between fans of whether it is New Vegas or 3.
3's on the top contenders list? I didn't even realize it existed.
3 is in the top contenders list. 3 is phenomenal. It's not my favorite because it felt like choice mattered less than it did in New Vegas.
Who even is this? Who even are you, Fallout 3?
Liam Neeson is the voice of your father in Fallout 3. You're exploring the wastelands of Washington, D.C., trying to purify the water of Washington, D.C. It is a phenomenal game. And if you blew up Megaton, then you suck. You don't blow up Megaton. Deactivate that atomic bomb that's just sitting there, please.
Is there a reason they called it Fallout and then Fallout New Vegas and then 3 and 4?
Well, yeah, New Vegas. So it was Fallout, Fallout 2, Fallout Tactics, whatever. Those were a different company before Bethesda bought it. Fallout 3 was the next continuation. New Vegas is a spin-off. It's not considered a numbered game because it was not developed by Bethesda.
Okay.
Yeah, it came after Fallout 3. So Bethesda's like, hey, we just made this cool game, Fallout 3. Here you go, Obsidian. Here's our tools, and you make a game. And they made a game better than Fallout 3.
It's really embarrassing for them.
Well, it gets embarrassing for Obsidian later.
That's like almost levels of Assassin's Creed being like, we're not going to make a game in Japan. And then Ghost of Tsushima is like, I guess we'll do that. And then they made an Assassin's Creed game that was better than anything Ubisoft could have actually made.
Well, here's where it gets embarrassing for Obsidian is because Bethesda did announce, hey, we're making another RPG like Fallout and Elder Scrolls, but in space called Starfield. And Obsidian's like, all right, bet. And they beat him to the punch by 3 years. And it was a good game. It's not as good as Starfield.
Wait, what game was that?
The Outer Worlds.
Oh, I did buy that game and play about 4 hours of it, and then I quit.
Yeah, it falls under the camp of traditional Bethesda RPG, even though it's not Bethesda. Okay. But it's just okay. It's nothing phenomenal. I didn't fall in love with it. I thought it was fun-ish. I didn't get the same feeling. But Bethesda has their certain thing that makes things fun. That's probably why you didn't love it. You didn't get that initial.
Well, I've learned is like I just don't care for first-person games when it's like story-based. I want a real character, or I want it to be like third person.
You can play in third person.
You can play in third person. I never figured out how.
All Bethesda games.
No, I'm talking about Outer Worlds. Can you play Outer Worlds in third person?
I think so. But I don't remember.
I just don't like. I think that was a big. I don't know if you could do that in Cyberpunk, but I also remember seeing Cyberpunk was mostly first, and I was like, I don't want this.
Yeah, I can't speak to Outer Worlds because I always play those games in first person. But I know you can in Fallout 3, Fallout 4, New Vegas, Skyrim, Morrowind, Oblivion. I never played Morrowind or Oblivion on the Elder Scrolls games or any other. I've only played Skyrim. I'm a dirty casual.
Never played any of them.
Okay, so talking about what a Bethesda RPG is, I did also play Fallout 4. I guess I should mention that. It's definitely not as good as 3 or New Vegas. It is probably bottom tier. Like, it looks pretty. It looks really, really nice compared to the other two. But it's fine. It was fun, just not as good. So, Bethesda RPG, what is it? A Bethesda RPG, think of it like kind of like a tabletop RPG with a lot of pre-written prompts. So you walk up to a character and they can say, "Hey, my baby my son is missing in a cave," and they'll give you options of like, "Oh, I'll go find your son," or "Hey, good luck with that. I'm not helping you," or "Hey, I can give you a new son." Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They give you options like that. There's a lot of speech type options. On top of that, you can build your character however you want, just like a tabletop, like Dungeons and Dragons or whatever. And of course, you have one goal, but there's a lot of side quests you can do, a lot of places to explore. That's a traditional Bethesda RPG. A lot of choices.
Like to me, is you just described an RPG.
Yes.
Like, what about? I'm not trying to see you to bed. I'm like, what about that is specific to Bethesda? Like, what's the Bethesda charm?
There is a Bethesda feel. I don't know how to explain it. Well, okay. One, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this. A lot of other games give you the illusion of choice, I feel. Where Bethesda, it's no longer an illusion of choice. If you see this NPC and you can talk to them and they're friendly and they can give you a side quest, you can do that. Or you don't even know this person. You could just shoot them dead and they never come back to life. You can kill anyone. You can talk to anyone. Obviously, you'll have people coming after you depending on faction choices. But there's a lot. It's a little bit more open-ended. Can I tell you a quick
story?
Yeah.
Can I tell you a quick story? So once upon a time, I was playing a game called Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I went to this island, and there was a couple, and I found out via Googling that I could romance either one of them, and I really wanted to romance the boy because he was the only attractive man in that entire game I could romance. But I accidentally went on this girl's quest with her, and by doing that, I had chosen to romance her, which I didn't want to do. And so then the man that I ended up wanting to romance tried to murder me, and I couldn't not fight him, so I had to murder him. And then I went to go talk to her, and I had to tell her I murdered the guy. And then she was so devastated by my choices that she killed herself.
Yeah, that tracks.
There was a lot of choices that were made there that I didn't want to make. And in the end, I came in and there was a beautiful, happy couple, and they both ended up dying because I wanted to romance the boy. So I'm just saying, I think you're right, and I think in the sense that, like, I think Bethesda probably did start, because I have played a lot of games where choice is an illusion.
Yeah.
Life is Strange. I'm looking at you.
Yeah. Big example.
And so I think Bethesda probably was one of the first ones to come in and say the things you do are going to really affect the story. But I think now that that's become more commonplace, it's maybe less Bethesda thing.
Bethesda still has its charm. I mean, you have games like Baldur's Gate that also do it. Then that is traditionally just Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that is very Dungeons and Dragons.
And you also have, like I said, Obsidian did their own thing, etc. It has a lot to do with Bethesda's set pieces and how they put things together, which is going to be one of the gripes I have with Starfield overall. Because I think that Fallout 3 is incredible. I think Fallout New Vegas is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it other than bugs that need to be fixed in the PS3 version. Specifically the PS3 version. I think Skyrim is beautiful through and through. I think Fallout 4 was fun. We don't talk about Fallout 76 because that does not fall in that camp.
So overall, if you were to sum things up, you would say you are an enthusiastic fan of Bethesda RPGs, and you have played a good chunk of them.
Yes, including DLCs.
Including DLCs. So when you started your Starfield journey, you were no stranger to this experience.
Correct. I knew exactly what I was getting myself into.
You weren't lulled into this experience because like me, I was like, I haven't played it, but when I saw the trailer, I was like,
you were like, what?
Mass Effect.
Okay. I don't think that's still fully fair. But
no, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I looked at that and I was like, another Mass Effect game.
Granted,
I get to be in space again.
Granted, I think you would enjoy it. Knowing you, I think you actually would enjoy it, especially because you can romance almost every character, main character. It's great. But there's also part of a gripe with that too. which I'll get into. So let's talk about Starfield.
Yes.
Starfield is the biggest universe Bethesda ever created. I guess we're going to start with gripes because that is part of its downfall. I gave Starfield a 7.5, maybe teetering closer to an 8. And that's not... Some people would say that's a low rating. That's a bad rating. That's not a low rating. Oh my God.
That's like a really good rating to me.
Yeah, I hate when people say, you rated it so low. I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't rate it like a 2 or a 3. I gave it a 7.5.
If you felt mid about it, you would have rated it like a 5.
Exactly.
And then I really enjoyed it. I think it's a 7. I think anything that's like, I love this game so very much, it's perfect, would be like an 8 to a 10.
Yes. I put 120 hours into it, so I think it's teetering closer to 8. I could play it again, and I probably will play the DLC, but I kept 7.5. So let's talk about the good. I want to talk about the good. I don't want to start with the bad.
Okay.
Talking about the good.
Wait, question number one, because
yes.
you specifically told me to interject with dumb questions.
Correct.
What, do they ever at any point in the game define a Starfield?
It's not a bad question. It's not a bad question. Because kinda.
Do they?
Not that term. Not that term.
Well, then they didn't.
By the way, I did put a spoiler warning in the title, so here's spoiler. If you don't want a spoiler, this is the time to leave. You are finding pieces to create, I think it was called an axillary or something like that.
Or, because why not call it the thing the game is named after?
You don't. But you put all these pieces together to... you put all the pieces together and essentially become infinite, and you become a Starborn. I don't want to get too far deep into it.
Is this directly related to the line in Percy being a wallflower where he says, in that moment we were infinite? Is that what you're trying? Are you trying to achieve the peace that Logan Lerman felt at the end of that movie? Like, because you said you're trying to become infinite. Logan Lerman achieved that in that movie.
Oh God, what have I done? No. I will have my...
What do you mean? What do you mean by be infinite? Like, you mean like be immortal? Be all powerful?
I'm actually gonna get to that. And the reason I say... No, I'm saying I gotta get to that because I have to describe everything else first. What they did well. So starting with what they did well, the story and the characters. All 10 out of 10. I have never seen... every character I ran into in Starfield was fantastic. Especially all the main characters, all the people you can recruit on your team. There is one character who is annoying, but that is literally why they created him. He's a nod to a character from Oblivion called the Adoring Fan. And because Bethesda fans loved him so much, they brought him back into Starfield, and he's just a guy who's so obsessed with you, and he can join your crew. And they got back
that's fun.
Yeah, they got back his voice actor and everything for it. He's annoying as all get out. Every character, phenomenal. And the story, I would say, is the best Bethesda story of all time.
Sure.
Here's where the spoilers are coming in, by the way. So we can get to the Emily's question. The story essentially is you start off, you're mining on this planet. You can choose your background. There's no like where you came from specific. It just depends on what you select in your character screen. Mm-hmm. But you're on this mining planet, doing a job. This is your new job as a miner on a planet, and you find this artifact that a group called Constellation asked you to pull out. And as soon as you touch it, you see weird visions and hear weird sounds, and like it's you see like the universe. It's crazy. Guy named Barrett comes down on a ship with his robot Vasco.
I'm sorry, did you say Barrett and Bosco?
Vasco, Vasco.
Okay. Yes.
I
liked Bosco better, but okay.
Barrett, who is a 10, Barrett is one of the best characters in this damn game. It is so good. He's great. He comes down, he collects the artifact. He was followed by pirates, and essentially is like, all right, guy who pulled out the artifact, I have to help them hold off these pirates that you just helped us hold off because more are coming. I want you to take my ship and go back to this city called New Atlantis, which is a new civilization on a new planet. Sure. And it's beautiful. It's massive.
Is it blue? Is it like does the planet resemble water in some way?
You have water, you have grass. It's like Earth with different animals.
Then why call it Atlantis? Why not call it New Earth?
The planet.
So I have another question.
The planet is called Jimison. The city's called New Atlantis. Go on.
When you picked up the artifact and you like had this vision of like everything in the Earth, did you have like a goal that you were told you had to do with this vision you've seen?
Nope. You were told nothing from that. But Barrett is another person who touched one of these artifacts and has seen what you've seen. So pretty much
there's more.
Yeah. So he tells you to go meet his group called Constellation. You go to New Atlantis on the planet Jimison, which is a giant city. And this is it's a habitable planet. You don't need spacesuit, space helmet, anything. And you go find Constellation and they're like, "Oh, hey dude, we like you enough. If you want to help us find all these pieces of these artifacts that we're trying to discover what they do because they interact weirdly together, let's do it. You're hired." And you join Constellation. Because they're like, if Barrett told you to take a ship, he trusts you. We trust you. You meet their leader. Her name is Sarah. Sarah is probably the only person you should ever romance and start. No, you can marry Andreja. That's fine. Barrett or Sarah, though, are the two most popular to romance in Starfield.
Before you can say anything, I have to know what they look like.
Okay. Not Barrett. Sarah is British.
Barrett has some very striking eyes.
He's a very, very good-looking man.
He's like when he's got his helmet on, he's got like a dad vibe, and then when he takes the helmet off, a little less, but the helmet really gives that vibe. And then who's the other person you said?
Sarah.
Sarah?
Yeah. Barrett. Background on Barrett: he is very sarcastic and charismatic. He is like the type of guy who will talk through everything.
Okay, Sarah's eyes are too intense for me personally. Second of all this tells me is that somebody watched the show Once Upon a Time and said, we really like that Emma Swan character and her like blonde hair and red leather jacket. Get her in my game right now.
Third person you need to look up is Andreja. So it's like Andrea, but with a J. Okay, so you team up with Sarah, you go find another artifact, and you go save Barrett, who's been abducted by pirates, who the pirates don't even like keep him hostage because Barrett talks his way out of it.
Was this game motion captured?
I don't know. Why?
Because she looks like Rachel Weisz.
I have no idea.
In a way that like, yeah.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah.
Andreja was, after I met, I did too many side quests and I married Sarah before I met the other main characters. That was my biggest problem with Starfield.
They're like literally, I searched this and the first thing that popped up was a Reddit post about how everyone agrees that this woman looks insanely like Rachel Weisz. And like,
I feel
she's the only right choice.
You doing all this feels like we're a real podcast now. Like, Emily, please pull that up on the screen. And we just post the post up there.
I like want you all to look up a photo of Emma Swan and picture her with short hair. That is Sarah. And then you have Rachel Weisz as Andreja. And I mean, these are good. These are good options. Do you have any non-human romance options?
So we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
Okay. So
sure.
you save Barrett, you save Andreja, and you get a whole bunch of pieces of this armillary. All the pieces of all the art. They call them artifacts at this point. After you get a certain amount, a random weird looking ship you've never seen before starts like. It contacts you as like, I hope you're successful in your mission, but it's ominous. And then at another point, it starts attacking you. Like these people and these ships start attacking you every time you try to go for an artifact. You find new powers, kind of like Skyrim with voices. You can find powers that it's completely optional as you're trying to get them. Because as you progress, you learn that all these people are called Starborn, and they are all trying to get all these artifacts again because they've all found them all before. And if you find the person who finds them all and puts them all together, creates the armillary, which makes them. I see you getting a headache. Which essentially makes them immortal.
What do you found them all before, and then you have to find the person who finds them all?
So no, that's the next portion. They found them all before because once you find them all, you go into. I think it actually was called the Starfield. I can't remember. You go into this area, this weird room. You see another version of yourself, and they kind of hinted at it before. They've talked about it a lot before this point, but because we're at the end, whatever. You find out essentially there are, of course, infinite universes. And you see another version of you that you created.
Question.
Yes.
Is this a reference to PT where he says, "I saw myself walking ahead of me. The only me is me. Are you sure the only you is you?"
I think yes. I think Kojima made sure to put that in there specifically. By the way, PT episode coming in a few weeks.
It's gonna be spooky.
So you see another version of yourself. You see a vision of all the things you've done, including side quests that were very impactful. All the things you did with other factions, whatever. And you learn that is how they introduce New Game Plus to you. You created the armillary. You're here now. If you continue on, you start a new universe with all your levels and everything, and all the powers you've obtained and everything. But everything, all your relationships and everything goes back to ground zero, and you have to restart all quests. But they reintroduce that as New Game Plus without telling you, just saying you're going to another alternate universes.
Sense. I like that. Is that the whole plot? That's the whole game?
That is a 30,000 foot above version of the plot. There's a lot of things I left out intentionally.
Okay.
But yes, that is the general gist of the plot.
I noticed in the list of good things that you talked about that you liked with this game, you left out the fact that Brian David Gilbert is in it, and I have to wonder if that was intentional or if for some reason you turned against Brian David Gilbert.
I never found him.
So you weren't committed enough to...
Anywho.
He's in, like, the main area, I think.
When you start New Game Plus 2, you are a Starborn. You get one of their funky little Starborn ships, and you get a Starborn, like, spacesuit that you don't have to wear. And you go to... It becomes the same game, but different because you act like you're Starboard, and you get new voice options, and you get to meet all these people again. It's the same quests, but with like, hey, I already know what happens here, so let's wrap this up quicker or something like that.
Another question I have.
Yes.
Do you get to pick your character's name?
Yes.
And if you do, will they call you it?
Only if it's a normal name. Only if it's like a common name. I named myself Beardy Boy, so they called me Captain most of the time.
Okay.
But if you went by Emily, then specifically Vasco would be like, Emily, I am doing this.
Is it like a way where they recorded every single line with every single name, or are they like, or he's like, once we find Emily, no, then we're gonna go to the store.
It's the same they did with Fallout 4, where they had the voice actor record multiple names.
Okay,
so
that sounds awful for them.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about the things I liked. Things I already said I love the story. Mm-hmm. I said I already loved. I loved the characters. I think combat was very, very well done. For like the first time in a Bethesda game, most Bethesda games are a little bit slower combat. This felt quick and fluid. It never felt unfair if I died. I knew I needed to level up. I knew when I didn't need to level up, etc. So it felt very, very, very fair. And it felt fluid and no issues there.
Another question.
Yes.
How long would you say it takes to beat the main story?
If you're only doing the main story?
Sure.
If you're only doing the main story, probably 40 to 60 hours.
Oh, okay. That's way longer than I thought it was.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very long. Bethesda games are known for being long. So, yeah, it takes a while. Like I said, I dumbed it down a lot. I dumbed it way down. I didn't even mention a lot of characters.
Did you leave out the alien characters on purpose?
We'll get there, Em. I promise.
You keep telling me we'll get there when it comes to aliens, and you have yet to Are there aliens?
We'll get there, Emily.
Okay.
Okay.
There better be. What's the point of having a space game if I don't have aliens?
We're gonna jump into some quests that I like.
Okay.
I liked. I do. Or actually, yeah, we're gonna talk about quests. But first, the scanning planets option. I loved. I thought that was a really cool thing, optional thing you could do, because every planet you go to has different plants, different animals, alien animals. Emily, there you go.
That's not what I wanted.
I know, but trust me, we'll get to where you wanted. Different plants, different alien animals, and different like elements. Like you can find gold, argon, whatever, and you can scan the planet and you can send that information off, and people will pay you for like scans of planets, so they know what they can go mine there and what to find there. Okay, it's optional, but it's a cool little like thing you can do.
That exists in Mass Effect, for the record.
It does, but there's over 1,000 planets in Starfield.
Too many. I would get bored. And I guess that's a question. I know you have your layout, and I know you're going through it. Did you feel like the game was too big?
No, and that will come up in my gripes as well.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
Yes, it's in my review if you haven't read it already.
I did, but it was like days ago, and I forgot.
Side quest. I loved almost every single faction in side quest I did. I loved the pirates, who are a side bad group called the Crimson Fleet, which you can join as a undercover cop. Their leader Delgado is fantastic. All their members are great, hysterical. It was a fun little quest line to do. The UC, which is essentially a member, they're essentially space military.
Okay.
They're one of the 3 main space military factions that have their own land. You have the UC, which is United Colonies. You have the Freestar Collective, and then you have House of Varun. And you could do quests for both the UC and quests for Freestar Collective. And both their quest lines are fantastic. I had a good time. Freestar Collective gave me better rewards every time I did one of their quests. They gave me a big ass ship that I used for a majority of my playthrough.
That's nice.
And the UC, this is where we're getting to major side quest spoiler territory. So if you don't want spoilers, now's the time to mute your audio. Like now is here's your warning. Or if you're on YouTube, skip ahead. The UC quests are really, really cool. One of them, I already told you, you infiltrate the Crimson Fleet, and you're pretending to be a pirate, and at the end taking down from the inside. Or you can choose to join them. Like you don't have to take down the Crimson Fleet. You could say screw the UC and join the Crimson Fleet, which is cool. And then another thing is that there are these things called xenomorphs. And what xenomorphs are these giant alien freaks of nature that give people hallucinations and eat people and are loud and terrifying. You're looking it up now. They are horrifying.
It's giving more from the Alien series.
They're very, very difficult to take down. They are very hard, and every time they screech, you start hearing voices, you see hallucinations. It freaks people out.
I'm seeing photos. They are very, very freaky looking. And actually, I'm getting like half Starfield, half
Alien.
Alien, yeah.
What they did that was really cool is, spoiler warning, when you learn what creates xenomorphs, because xenomorphs are not natural on any planet, but you learn that there's a plant that turns these things called heat leeches into xenomorphs, which heat leeches are these little bugs that run around and they take heat off robots, whatever. When you learn that, though, you realize I've been seeing these heat leeches everywhere. These are not my first instances. And that was a really cool, they're hinting at these are going to be important, but not giving you any info on them other than they're there, shoot them, go away type thing. And so that was a really cool thing they did. That quest line was, oh my God, it gave me nightmares that night. It was terrifying, but also really exciting.
Sounds great.
And now we're going to talk about my favorite side quest. Oh?
Yes.
You have a question.
Well, I was just going to say again, that's not the alien I wanted.
Oh, I know. We're not there yet, Emily.
When will we be talking about the aliens in this space game?
I'm going to talk. Why? I'm going to mention them in my gripes.
Is it that there are none? Is that what we're waiting for?
I didn't say there are none.
Okay.
Okay, so, my favorite side quest of this whole game was you had to be a super high level to do this because you need to have high enough drive to jump to the solar system, whatever. You get there because you get a distress signal early in the game of these people like saying, hey, someone come help us. And you fly down to this planet and you see this like little civilization. Okay. There's a robot out front who stops you, says, who are you? And you're like, oh, got this distress signal. He's like, all right, you can enter. You go in and there's this group of people and you walk up to this person. He's like, oh, you're from the outside world, which is already strange because like most people are traveled.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, you need to go and talk to Franklin. He's in this building back here. Because everyone else is hiding and they won't come out until Franklin gives the okay. So you go up to the man and he's the only person not wearing like space attire. He's wearing a normal Earth suit. Okay. Tie, everything. And he's going on about like, okay, we're all trapped here. We all live in this encampment. We cannot leave at all. By the way, my name is Franklin, as you already know. I'm Franklin D. Roosevelt, and I'm a clone. And you meet him, and you meet Genghis Khan, and you meet Amelia Earhart, and you're doing quests for them to get them out. And you have to kill Genghis Khan.
What?
It is so wacky, and it is
actually clones, or are they just people who are like delusional?
No, they're actual clones. Because if one dies, the robots create another one in this lab far away and bring them back.
Why? Why Amelia Earhart? She can't fly. Why create Amelia Earhart and then trap her on a planet? That's like the opposite of what she'd be useful for.
The reason they did is because when you complete the quest, you can get Amelia Earhart to be part of your ship crew, and she can be like work on your ship.
No, that's cool, but like, what's the logic behind the robots making an Amelia Earhart that can't fly or go anywhere?
Well,
what is she supposed to contribute?
Well, the whole point, they had some kind of goal creating these clones and keeping them locked up, but the humans who were working on it died before they finished because of all these other aliens. And the robots were never unprogrammed to stop it, so they're keeping them left behind until the great mission is finished, and you never figure out really what that is. I mean, they talk, and they're not looking for plants.
No, Wally wasn't looking for plants. He was left behind to carry out the great mission.
True.
Which was to build garbage blocks.
And he did a great job.
Yes, he did.
The other weird thing, I can't remember. There was an Egyptian queen was the third person you help. She's the one you choose if you want to go with Genghis Khan, FDR, or this. I can't remember her name.
Cleopatra?
No, it wasn't her. It starts with an A.
I feel like I should know this.
I digress. I was going to look it up on my
Anaxinamun.
I don't think that's correct.
That's the lady from The Mummy.
I can't remember her name. I went with her side because like the three sides are Genghis Khan wants everyone essentially to stay behind and be able to die in peace. Like all kill each other and die because they can't go to the outside world. You have FDR who wants everyone to stay behind and thrive.
Sure.
Pretty much nothing changes. And you have the third lady who's like, we want to explore the galaxy. We want to be set free and live our own lives. And that's the option I went with. I think if you go with the other two options, then...
That sounds like the best option.
Okay, it is Amanda Reynes. That is the name. That's the person. That's the girl.
I've never heard that name in my life.
I didn't either until this. I'm not a history buff, though. It was very hard. There's a reason it's such a high-level quest, because, like, the fights are very hard. There are aliens in level 80s. I was fighting at level 50. It was difficult, but it was one of the most fun experiences I had through that game. Yeah, that's my major, like, pluses. I thought dungeons were cool. I thought scanning planets, I thought side quests were all great. I thought the factions were all great. The story was great. And I thought the characters were great. Emily, any questions before we go to gripes?
I noticed that not a single one of your pluses contained aliens.
That is correct.
So I can only assume at this point you can't romance or befriend the aliens.
At least I didn't run into one. So here, let's talk about that as the first gripe, so we can get it off here. No, we're gonna wait till the end. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Why would you do that?
I wouldn't do that to you.
I've waited so patiently.
Have you been very patient?
No, because why would you not have aliens in the Alien game?
So you do kind of asterisk. Okay, there are a lot of moments where you hear people, oh, go find this guy. He's a Martian. Go find this guy. He's an alien.
And do they just mean like Matt Damon?
They all look like humans. All the alien characters all the alien people look like humans. It's not like Mass Effect where you have a Garrus. They all look like humans.
Why in a game where you could go to space in the future and get a consciousness to become immortal would I not want alien friends? Do you think they were just afraid of being labeled as Mass Effect?
I don't know.
And so they were like, no, we can't touch the aliens because that's a Mass Effect thing.
That was my big gripe number one. There were no alien characters.
It's really giving the Nintendo vibes of like we can only have toads and the toads must all look the same.
Here's the thing. There's a good chance there were aliens and I never found them. But I doubt it.
That seems unlikely.
Yeah, because the amount of times I said, go find this guy. He's a Martian. And you couldn't tell. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. I need to backpedal. I forgot one thing that I really, really enjoyed.
Okay.
The one thing I really enjoyed, talking about the UC, the United Colonies, you go to this random bar on this random planet it's not on the planet, it's in this like space station outside a planet. And you go up to him, and the first thing he says to you is, "Are you a patriot?" And you're like, you have if you chose to be a United Colonies native, like you'd be like, yeah, I was born and raised there, whatever. He's like, well, this known killer, people call this guy a known killer, they're a bunch of communists. Like, he goes on this right-wing tangent, and it is incredible. I'm not doing it justice. I thought that was hysterical. Okay, back to my
I feel like I'd have to watch a clip about it. That sounds so odd.
It is so funny. Back to my gripe.
Just like, I'm sorry, I'm still just like on a downward spiral of like the fact that there's no aliens. Like, what's the purpose?
The aliens are the animals that you wouldn't normally see, and the xenomorphs.
But like, what's the motivation to play? There are no aliens.
Technically, Starborn are aliens, I guess.
I'm not here for technicallys.
Yeah, I mean, there's other reasons to play him. There's other reasons to play, like Andreja.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she's a beautiful Rachel Weisz replica. But I can always just watch The Mummy too.
So another downside, and this is the first one I want to talk about, and this is a big gripe with everybody, is that space exploration. You would think in a game with over 1,000 planets that you could just fly normally to every planet. You don't have to fast travel or jump drive or whatever.
I've heard that that's not a thing.
No. So we can go back to like week one of this game being out. A very, very popular streamer / a Sony someone who works for Sony. Her name is Alana Pierce. She did in the Milky Way solar system. It's just called Sol in this game. She went from one side of that universe and flew all the way to Pluto. It took her 7 hours to get there. 7 hours, and she flew through the planet. It didn't even give her an option to stop there. That's problematic.
That's
the space exploration is mostly fast traveling through space and fighting in space. The exploration on land is good. In space, it sucks.
That's the thing. That's the thing for me is I think if they didn't sell it as a space exploration game, you could get away with fast traveling to different planets. I know we keep comparing it to Mass Effect, but that's the only other space game I can really think of.
No Man's Sky.
I haven't played No Man's Sky. You do just like fast travel to different planets, but I would never really consider Mass Effect a big exploration game.
But you have a game like No Man's Sky, which is a much smaller budget, and you fly through space from planet to planet. It's not fast travel. You fly from planet to planet. And
No Man's Sky is a space exploration game.
Correct.
It feels weird that they would be like, no, you can't do that. Like, what?
It was disappointing.
Maybe have less planets and then let the people fly.
Yeah. I think the space, like the actual flying when you do fly through space, and the combat was fun and engaging once I figured it out. At first it was frustrating. Once I figured it out, it became fun and engaging. But exploration is a big no-no.
So what you're telling me is that this game that's supposedly about exploration where you can't fly to different planets has less space exploration than Kingdom Hearts and a gunship, where I can fly to different planets.
I wasn't ready for that.
You're welcome.
God damn it.
Fly to different planets in Kingdom Hearts. A game that came out in what, 2001?
2002.
2002? And you're telling me I wouldn't even label Kingdom Hearts a space exploration game, but you're telling me I can't fly from planet to planet in a space exploration game made in 2023?
Oh my god.
You know what? For the record, Kingdom Hearts has aliens.
Does it?
It has Stitch and Gantu and...
Technically, Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts 2 has Stitch.
Yeah.
I guess the Heartless are technically aliens because they travel through space to other worlds.
Just saying. I think Kingdom Hearts is checking off some more of these boxes than Starfield is.
I'm now thinking about that video you sent me earlier, too.
Yeah, I have to tell you this story because this is the funniest thing that's happened to me in a while. I opened up Instagram and I was scrolling through Reels, and it was this man talking about if you played these 3 games in your childhood, you have mental problems, and he's like, you have to be neurodivergent if you've played these 3 games or any of these 3 games. And right off the bat, he lists Pokemon. So I was like, of course I must send this to Blake. So he lists Pokemon, and I go, send it to Blake. And I was like, that's so funny. And then I continue to watch this, and the next game he lists is Kingdom Hearts. And I was like, that man has Blake's number. I was really hoping number 3 was going to be something also very specific to you. It wasn't. It was League of Legends, but
accurate.
I needed you to know I sent that at the Pokemon, and I was like, aha, that's funny. He plays Pokemon. And then he said Kingdom Hearts, and I screamed. It was so funny.
Back on to my gripes.
Sure.
No aliens. Space exploration, not great. Third gripe. I talked about how much I loved the faction quests. I loved the faction quests. There weren't enough of them to me. I felt like there were far more in a Fallout game or a Skyrim. There were not nearly enough in this game, and I felt like I went through them way too quickly. On top of that, and I alluded to this earlier, I told you of 3 main factions in like who owns parts of the galaxy. You have the UC, United Colonies, you have the Freestar Collective, and you have House Faroon. You interact with House Faroon in space fights because they're attacking you, and once for a main quest to save a guy. House Faroon, you do not get to talk to normally. They have no side quests. By the way, they're just this crazy bunch that believes in a serpent god's gonna bring them back to life. It's a whole thing. But it would have been cool to have like quests for them or to expand upon them. But they just said, "Oh, this group exists. They'll randomly attack you in space." Yeah,
stupid.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I wanted more faction quests. I especially wanted more. I feel like the UC Collective quests were long. Even though there were 2 main portions of their quests, they were long enough. With the Freestar Collective, you had 1 main quest for them, and it did not feel nearly long enough. It felt too short. It wasn't phenomenal. I wanted more. I wanted.
I wanna. I'm trying to find who Brian David Gilbert was because I want you to tell me because I want to know what faction he's a part of or if he is one.
He might not be. Well, if he's in a New Atlantis, then he's UC. Most people are UC. While she's looking that up, my final gripe, because we're running low on time. And this is probably the biggest, because the other two I could get past. I get it. There are reasons behind it, and I can understand them. I can't justify them, but I understand them. This third one has no justification whatsoever, other than pure laziness. First and foremost, we have to mention each planet is procedurally generated. No big deal. Okay. I get it. You can't design over 1,000 planets. This game would still be in development right now. I get that. The problem is that the planets that do not have normal civilization, most of them have something called an outpost. They have ice outpost. They have lava outposts. These outposts are created to mine materials, or they're just abandoned because they used to be used for those types of things.
Sure.
Specifically every single ice outpost I went to. The first one I went to, went through it. It's a dungeon, as they all are. Wipe out this wave of enemies. Okay, that was a good dungeon. I go to another one. It's the same layout. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is the one I went to before. Because it had been a long enough period of time. Maybe this is a different planet. Whatever. Or maybe it's the same planet. I just didn't realize it. Go through it again. I do a third one more recently. I know it's a different planet. It's the same layout. Nothing has changed. The same way to get through it. The exact same enemy locations. The exact same weapon and healing item locations. The exact same guy hanging out of a vent with a key on him in every single one. And that made me so mad. They made each procedurally generated cave on each planet different, but they couldn't make the goddamn outpost a different dungeon. I understand having multiple ice outposts. They're called a cryo outpost. That's what they're called. I understand having multiple of them, but don't make them all the same. Do something different. I don't like repetition, and it felt like I was. So
there wasn't any different. Like every ice one was the exact same one.
I did about 5 in total, and they were all the same.
That's really unfortunate.
The outside was different. The outside had to be different, but the insides, once you go through the doors that puts you into a loading screen to get inside, that was the same in every single one.
So what you're telling me is they didn't make 1 million outposts, they made 5.
They made different types of outposts that are all different. But if you go to a one cryo outpost, you've gone to them all, essentially.
Yeah, okay.
It was a 0 out of 10 experience. I did not love it. That was my biggest gripe. That's what knocked it. Honestly, if it wasn't for that, this game probably would have sat at an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10 because I loved it that much. That killed it. That actually really hurt the game more than anything for me. And I don't see anybody talking about it. And I don't know how. I didn't know.
Again, a game that's built on space exploration, it doesn't sound like I remember reading, too, about people who would say they landed on a procedurally generated planet that told them there was, one thing on that planet, and it took them, 15 minutes of running to get to the one thing on the one planet, and then 15 minutes of running back.
That's not necessarily true. Plus, they could have fast traveled back. Okay, that's not completely.
I didn't know that was an option, but that's what I heard people saying.
It depends where you land. If there's a planet where there's not a landing place, you can land essentially anywhere, and you could be next to something that has has a point of interest. You never really know. It just depends where you land. And you can fast travel back to your ship unless you're as long as you're not in combat. So, whatever. I don't mean to sound like I'm gaslighting this guy, but that's not true.
So overall, you'd rate it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm actually gonna up that rating to a 7.9.
Ooh, spicy.
7.9 out of 10.
That's a pretty good rating.
It would have been an 8.5 to a 9. That one small piece docked it more than the space exploration part. Also, the fact that I couldn't get, slap some alien cheeks also docked some points, but I digress.
Yeah, no, quite honestly, I know no one asked for my score and they don't want it because I haven't played the game. I'd give it a 0 out of 10 for not a single alien in space, the inability to explore space by flying through space. I'm not here for it, man. I mean,
I would say
even just like some alien friends, like my favorite part about Mass Effect was being able to like have the different species and like how they all had different histories with one another and different backstories and prejudices and how that played with the team that you had put together. I don't understand why I would want to play a game in space that not only doesn't have aliens, but doesn't let me explore space.
You can fly infinitely. It's not right.
Yeah. Again,
as from me to you, if you want to try it, but then again, lately I've asked you to try things and then you just keep them sitting on your desk until I have to come pick them up in a month.
To Pokemon.
A game that you've had since January.
Before you pick it up, I will have put a handful of hours into it.
She has a month and a half.
A month and a half is plenty of time for me to sit down one regretful evening and put 3 hours into this game before deciding I don't want to play it.
I will say, if you want to try Starfield, get Game Pass, pay the $10, run it that way.
I don't.
Okay.
This isn't anything like... It just doesn't sound like my kind of game. I don't really care much for space exploration or just exploration in general. I think exploration is fun in certain worlds, like, a Zelda world where I really am like immersed in the lore of the series or something like that. But, I mean, I think one day, maybe if it came to PlayStation or it was like free or something like that.
It's not coming to PlayStation.
Or if it was like $2 or something like that, then maybe I would give it a go. It's not anything against it. It's not that I think it's a bad game. It just doesn't sound like my kind of game.
Which is why I say pay the $10 for Game Pass for a month. Try it. Realize you don't like it. And then instead of wasting $70, you wasted 10.
Yeah, I think maybe one day I would pay the $10 to try Game Pass. It's not anything I really feel like I want to do now. Especially with
Fair.
Assassin's Creed coming up.
Mario Wonder. Which, mind you...
Silent Hill 2 remake is coming out at some point.
Mind you, Emily said, hey, we have to get Mario Wonder on release. And I pre-ordered that day for her to come around later and say, hey, I'm not going to get it on release.
Yeah, that's because I forgot Assassin's Creed Mirage was coming out in like a week. And I was like, that's a lot of video games to buy in a very short period of time.
So, yeah, that's my review of Starfield. Next week, Emily will be reviewing Assassin's Creed.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah, 2 weeks from now. She'll be reviewing Assassin's Creed, and I will be answering the stupid questions, specifically from Perks of Being a Wallflower. If you're here on YouTube right now, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you're in the Twitch chat right now, make sure you go to the YouTube and you like, comment, and subscribe. Every little bit helps us. Emily cries every time you don't. She calls me and it's like, why don't people love us? And it hurts her feelings.
It's very true.
And I try to help her out through it. It's a very, very hard time for both of us.
So 2 weeks from now, we'll be doing Assassin's Creed Mirage. We have a bonus episode coming up pretty soon where we're going to talk about PT. And if you want a sneak peek on my thoughts on Mirage, I will be streaming that tomorrow.
Yeah, she will. You can find her at twitch.tv/EmilyJean33. You can find me at twitch.tv.
I will be.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, and I was saying you can find me at twitch.tv/TheBeardedBlake Show.
I was just going to say I don't know what time I'll be streaming. I haven't determined that yet because I'm considering taking some time off to do it, but who knows.
If you are watching this on YouTube, she will have streamed yesterday. Do not go looking. It's too late. Yeah, you were too late.
You can come looking. You can streams. Can say hello, and you can hit that follow button, and you can watch the VOD, but yeah, it'll be probably
She streams every time a bee hits her windshield, which is not very often.
It's not. I tried to stream on Sunday, and it didn't go too hot for me.
On that note, Find us on YouTube. Find us on our individual Twitch channels. Be back here on the Twitch channel in 2 weeks if you can't. Find us on YouTube on Friday for this episode, or the next Friday, 2 weeks from this upcoming Friday for the AC episode. After that, we'll be doing our bonus episode and our Mario Wonder video. But yeah, we're gonna go into the after party. So have a good night. Bye.